We interrupt this program for the sales prevention department. Every month, every single month, there is a victim. It brings me great pain some months to talk about the victim. Some months it doesn't bring me great pain because they've given me such great pain in doing business with them. But every month is the sales prevention department. And do you guys like these little episodes? By the way, they're online, they're YouTube clips, they're podcast clips right now. They're short and sweet. Sometimes they're actually not so sweet. We've gotten some hate mail in the past when we've thrown some certain companies under the bus with our sales prevention department. But today, an interesting one. I've kind of had a dominant theme over the last couple months on my sales prevention departments. And I showed you a picture of my daughter who was born about a second ago. And I'll never forget what happened in the hospital the next day, not the day she was born, but the day we were leaving. I'm going to paint the picture here for you. So how many of you have kids? How many of you remember the hospital situation? 2 days later, 1 day later, whatever. It's a vivid thing, right? Like you remember getting there, of course, and like screaming and yelling, right, ladies? But then, everything subsides and you start to leave the hospital. Well, I'll never forget, it's like 11 o'clock in the morning. And I've told this story before, but not in a sales prevention department episode. And this girl comes in with this big cart. She wheels it in. Computer on top, 2 cameras. I'm like, what is going on here? She's not that famous yet. She's like 2 days old, right? And they come in and they say, how would you guys like to have pictures, DVDs, and USB drives of your time leaving the hospital with your daughter? I was like, wow, that sounds pretty cool. So they start taking pictures. I mean, this is like an experience that gets created. They offer the DVD package. They break out the catalog. They're saying, you could have this. We could ship a physical. We could put it on a USB. We could do a DVD. I mean, it was just this whole big process. And I was so impressed that we had so many options of pictures, USB drives, and DVDs. And I was like, absolutely, I'm in. And she's like, $281. You got it. I'm like, wow, that's a pretty hefty price tag for all this stuff going on. But she's selling me, and I'm actually kind of interested in watching the sales process. It's what I do. I hope she can close me. I'm kind of closed now. I mean, who says no when you're leaving the hospital with your daughter and you have a chance to have these professional pictures and big Zoom cameras like this? And it was just an incredible process that they actually structured a deal with Mount Sinai. This was a photography company, and they did a great job on the way in. Right? They did a great job knowing that everyone is going to leave at the highest emotional point of their life, and they're most likely going to say yes unless they're dead broke. Right? I mean, this is like the ultimate situation to close a deal for photography. So they got me, who knows how many others in the hall that day, and we got our DVD, we got our book. It was just a great process. We were glad we did it. But do you know what happened 1 week later, 1 month later, 6 months later, and now a year later? Can anybody take a stab at it? Nothing. No email, no direct mail, no thank you card, no, hey, your daughter's probably about to turn 1, June 30th, by the way. Okay, your daughter's going to turn 1. Do you want to continue the path of picture taking and maybe have this amazing catalog when she's 10, 15, 20 years old? I haven't heard a thing from this company. They did a masterful job coming into the room and literally putting the greatest package together for us to have all of these assets for my daughter. How could it be that never again do they communicate with me? So now what could they have done? What could they have done? Well, number one, email's free. Last I checked, right? So could I have gotten an email a week later checking in? Yes. Could I have gotten an email a week or 2 later saying, you bought this great package. If you refer us 2 friends, we'll give you 20% off your next video shoot. Is that a lot of work? Free for email. How about a thank you card in the mail that says, we really appreciated serving you at Mount Sinai Hospital. We hope you love the pictures. The second you're ready to do your next video shoot or DVD shoot with us, we're your people, and here's what we'll do for you. We'll come to you, and we'll actually give you, a discount. We'll actually give you this free if you buy this. What does all of this do? Stimulates activity. What else does stimulating activity do with the customer? Creates trust. What else does creating trust do? Creates more buying activity. What does more buying activity do? Creates a higher customer value. So that now as I continue to need more pictures, more DVDs, and more videos, and people come to me and say, hey, do you know anybody who takes great pictures or does great video work or maybe puts things on a USB? Who am I going to refer them to? The person that's always in front of me. But this person was never in front of me, and I don't even remember how to get in touch with them. As if one morning I'm going to wake up and by osmosis say, you know what? The person who took that video and those pictures of me a year ago, I can't wait to give them a call and do business with them again. The problem is I don't know how to get in touch with them again because they never sent anything to me. So they didn't prevent the sale coming in. They did a masterful job with that experience coming into the room, and it was very impressive. But literally, the greatest opportunity we have as business owners is the second the sale is done. What are the steps? What are the sequences? What are the touch points that we can put in place to continue the relationship, number one, and also raise customer value, right? We're so transaction-based as business owners today, and we're all guilty of it at times, that we forget the power of relationship building after the sale. Because at the end of the day, we all know that getting a new customer for the first time is tough today, right? Would you guys admit that getting that first customer cold or by referral, it's a process to get the deal done. Now, would you also agree that when you get the deal done, it's much easier to go back to that existing customer with what's next? Step 2, step 3, step 5, step 6. So my question to all of you by show of hands, and if you're watching via webcast as well, be honest. How many of you have a system in place that kicks in the second the first sale begins? Show of hands. How many steps? If you have more than 2 steps, raise your hand. Don't look at me, look around the room. You'll learn more. Not a big number. How many of you have more than 5 steps that take place after that initial sale is made? Now we're down to 3. How many of your steps exceed 30 days? How many of your steps exceed 90 days? How many of your steps exceed 6 months? Meaning you're continuing to be in front of that customer, whether it be email, direct mail, on the phone, perhaps phone calls happen. Maybe you're inviting them to a live event. I'm in front of you guys every single month, right? Doing a live event like this every single month. How many of you have multi-steps that go far beyond that initial sale? But look around the room, and this isn't a slight at anybody because we're all guilty of this. There's like 5 or 6 hands up. In a room of this size, that's not a lot of hands. Why does this happen? Anyone want to take a stab at it? Why do we drop the ball so frequently and so consistently after the sale is made? What's that? We're like hunters, right? Have you heard the hunter-fisherman story? Not really a story, but an analogy, right? So a hunter hunts, right? A hunter, like you said, Rob, he's out looking for the next deal, What does a fisherman do? Kind of hangs out, drops a few lures in the water, attracts, maybe uses a shiny lure one day, maybe drops a few fishing lines in the water the other day, but a fisherman attracts. He attracts. So my question is, are you a hunter or a fisherman? Do people like to be hunted or lured? Do people like to be hunted or attracted? So if you can alter your business to be attraction-driven, not go out and hunt-driven, your perception and your positioning in the marketplace is dramatically different. I mean, literally, your phone will ring off the hook. People will be chasing you down to do business with you if you are perceived as a fisherman and not a hunter. So think about this as you're making your next sale. This is such an important little element that I do here. As you're making your next sale, right? Me helping you keep your eye on the ball. Next time you make your next sale, stop for a minute and say, you know what? What am I going to do tomorrow for that customer? What will I do next week? What will I do next month? We have all this technology today, multimedia technology, to continue to be in front of our audience. The second we gain that sale and we get that trust is built with the customer, that we need to be thinking 5, 6, 7 steps ahead. Okay? So the question is, are you guilty of not doing enough before and after the sale? And you don't have to admit it right now unless you're very brave. But we are. So think about this. Next time you make your next sale, next time you do your next transaction, how can I turn it into wealth? Not just money.